What's good, y'all? Welcome to episode 13 of the HipHopHumboldt podcast. Thanks for joining. It's your boy David. I appreciate you if you've listened to the last podcast where we had Brian Swislow on, one of Humboldt County's hip-hop legends. And I'm pleased because right now I've got another hip-hop legend in the house, in the studio. We're talking Nac One from the Fantastik family, from Bay Area fame to Humboldt County hip-hop legend status. I'm so pleased to have him on. How you doing, Nac?
Salute, brother. Glad to be here, man.
Thank
you
so
for
much.
having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so, like we've been talking about, this podcast was really meant to archive the successes of hip-hop artists like yourself in Humboldt County. And so I had Swislow on, and I had to get you on because you're another foundational layer to the culture in Humboldt County. You've laid stuff down in the Bay before coming here. And so thanks so much for joining me, Nac.
Right on, man.
Yeah, man. So let's get into the history of it, man. You're from the Bay.
Yeah.
So
that's my roots. So we're going to start there from the seed. My crew is FSC Crew, Freestyle Champions, Funk Straight Coming, Future Shot Crew. We represented the graph element of hip-hop. And also we have DJs, MCs, producers, and other rappers that were part of the branch and extended family that came from the FSC core. We are still active as well. My brother Gigs One and Rackus is still rocking to this day, holding it down, holding the torch for the FSC crew. I'm the president of the crew because I was foundation to starting it with my brother Wim. Mm-hmm. And we pretty much took that, that vision of putting together like the best writers at the time from our side of the Bay, the East Bay. So that's Richmond, Berkeley, Oakland, pretty much. And we formed, similar to like a super team of graph writers that all were, similar age. This is like young high school kids with dreams and ambitions of making the world know our names. And through the graph art and through the letters, and we took it very serious. We also had a lot of knowledge coming from the elders in the crew who were connected with elders from New York, and they were bringing this knowledge to us. So we were keeping the tradition alive, straight from the Bronx, from the birthplace of hip hop. We were basically passed that torch, and we continued to hold that.
That's what's up.
That was, that's the basis of the FSC legacy, is just being hardcore graph writers. But as we grew and aged and we were into hip hop music and culture, we had older cats in the crew who were DJing. They would throw parties, they would throw jams at clubs, and part of our thing was hanging out and freestyling as the night was getting later, so that we could kill time before we went out to go do graph and bomb. We would rhyme to pass the time. And that developed into performing at the clubs and the different parties and house parties that the older cats were DJing at. Mm-hmm. And that developed into us being like, nah, we actually nice at this. And starting to plant the seed on the MC frontier, battling, doing showcases, being parts of different things that were happening. So I also got to shout out Universal Joint. My brother Cess One, he was the first MC producer who put me in the lab and on songs. And at the time, they had record deals on the table. With Capitol Record, we were getting demos and we were working on things. And there's a whole nother story that could be talked about in there. But that's where I started MCing. That's where I did some of my first verses on projects. And they also put me on stage and got me in clubs before I had an ID and pushed me out there to freestyle in front of people. And I got nice young. So
that's what's up.
As an MC, my MCing developed out of graffiti art. And I also was a B-boy before then. I was a B-boy in 5th grade. So I grew up in this hip-hop culture since, as long as I can remember. But as soon as I got a sense for things, around 1985, when I caught Beat Street and Electric Boogaloo and got really influenced by, I think the whole world turned into B-boys during that time. And I really caught that wave, and that kind of, grew into the graph and then into the MCing, which took me on a whole trip of, being an underground artist in the Bay and alongside my homies, Misfits of Styles, Universal Joint, a lot of foundational Bay Area artists that were there to see the legacy of, lots of different groups blossom and grow and come off of the block, like, from Hieroglyphics, Hobo Junction, Living Legends, Brother Planet Asia. So I was there to see a lot of these cats go from the underground to a bigger stage and watch their hustle and their different paths. I was part of a lot of epic showcases and performances alongside of a lot of legendary artists just in the Bay Area. And so I also, FSC was doing, music and stuff like that alongside keeping the graph heavily up. We ended up finally recording and releasing a record called FSC Oneness. And it didn't come out till 2001, but it was actually an album recorded in 99. But because of legal problems, we got raided and got in trouble. But that also was the beginning of me kind of getting my foot in the Humboldt door, because my brother took those records to Reggae on the River. He posted on top of his car with like hundreds of CDs, and the posters posted all around his car, and just slanged them out to every person that was walking in and out of the festival. So we got that record out to the Humboldt crowd kind of even more than we had in the Bay. It was like a good set off. Mm-hmm. And then shortly after that, around 2001, 2002, we started coming up here to do shows. And that was when I first got a taste of the Humboldt lifestyle and was like, this is like an extension of the Bay is how I felt, but a little bit behind, maybe it was about 10 years behind us, but it was still, I could see the potential and the growth that could happen. And I had a vibe, and, I'm a big herb smoker. So I was always about, visiting the place, where the epicenter of it all,
Yes, sir.
And since the music culture is so rich here, it was a great opportunity to get down and start planting the seeds in that way as well. I could expound more on the Bay history because there's lots there, but for the sake of time and timeline.
Yeah, I feel you, and I'd love to have you on again to talk about that at some point.
Yeah, I mean? There's lots of stories there.
Yeah,
lots of different history, lots of different points that I could be more specific about. Mm-hmm. We could delve into. Yeah,
because it's all Northern Cali history, hip hop history.
Absolutely, mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, I did. So I guess we'll take it back a little bit because I'm not. We're about 2002, and so I'm back in the Bay doing my thing. I start working on a solo record. My first solo record, because my crew was, we were doing a lot of graph, but people had different ideas of what they wanted to do, and I decided that music was really what I wanted to do, like a hundo. And it had been years in developing, and I had my whole thing down, and I was ready to really push. So I got with the homie Fantastik, who was at the time kind of like the DJ premier of Oakland, where everybody wanted his beats, everybody wanted to work with him. He was accessible. He was right downtown, and he had a studio he was sharing with Foreign Legion and the brother Frisbee from Various Blends, just another underground groups from the Bay. And they were all kind of like getting deals. They were getting distro deals with Caroline. People were starting to pop. And I was like, I need in on this opportunity. I seen some of the homies doing records with him, and I went and had a meeting, and he was digging the stuff, and we was all fam. He liked the FSC stuff and was like, yeah, let's work. But I had to figure out how I could really get my time in there. And since I was a graphic designer, I started doing all these record covers for his label and for his distro deal. So I did mad record labels, logos, a lot of production time. I put a couple years of work into with our agreement that he would record me and help me get a deal, at least with his distro. But ended up his distro deal ended when my record came out. But he helped me get on Bomb Hip Hop, and I got signed to them, and then went on tour, and then that was the beginning of my solo career as a MC. With the album called Natural Reaction. And that kind of put me on the map. That was like, now this is the new Bay. You know, we were getting put on as the new Bay at the time. A group called Frontline with Locksmith and his partner came out, and then my record came out at the same time, and there was a couple other groups, and they were like labeling us the new Bay. This was like a new sound. It wasn't similar to the same, Turfs type of music that the Bay is classically known for. No disrespect, but we had something different. And so they were kind of like trying to market us in a different way and kind of get a spotlight on, this new Bay artist coming out, and this is something different. Y'all should peep it. And it was a good ride. But shortly after, my family had decided to move up to Humboldt, and I had to adjust to the relocation, and it was a whole nother level to reach and to reconfigure and redesign my buzz and try to get things going. I was trying to keep that momentum that I had, and then come up here is a different world. So you have to find your place and respectfully. So I did, but I had to fight for it a little bit. And when I first got up here, I there was an MC battle at Humbrew's, and I signed up to that. I basically shredded everybody, but they didn't like me because I was the new dude in town. And I didn't have the popularity, of the crowd with me. So it's all judged by crowd response, and they like, we don't know you, bro. But, it was a weird thing where like, I got in there, I was ripping, doing my thing, and then I clearly won this round, and then they voted for the other guy. And I just walked off kind of like salty, kind of like, this is some whatever, I went into the back, started smoking, and then they called my name back again. I'm like, what? We need to even out this one. We need an extra dude to come back to even out this contest or somehow. And then I ended up in the final thing. Still had to take an L because of the popularity contest, but I made a lot of friends that night.
Came up, yeah.
Yeah, I made a lot of friends. I established myself. They all knew that this cat's nice. He's dangerous. You got to watch out for him. And
that's right.
I let them know. And it was a good feeling to start establishing that foundation. And then shortly after that, I started to get my kids involved more. My son, my oldest son, Mike, who used to go as Mischief Mike, he started in the Bay with me when he was 13. So I would take him to some of the shows I was doing. I was working for a nonprofit that was doing after school programs for disenfranchised youth in Oakland that was like all hip hop based. So they were teaching them breakdancing, they were teaching them graph, there was MCing, skills workshops, beat making, DJing. And at the end of the year, they would throw a showcase and I would perform at that. And then I started bringing my son because he was the youth too, and I wanted, a representation. So he was getting into rhyming, so I just started training him as a young MC. He got his, he cut his teeth at like MacArthur BART Station in the crowd of people walking home after work and open mic stuff and
man.
So he was raised straight in the root. You know what I mean? When we came up here, he just went further and further. So eventually his sister, MC Mystique, started being like, I'm going to rap too. And so it was Mystique and Mischief and me. We formed a Fantastik Fam along with the brothers of mine who I consider their uncles. They're like my best friends. Not all family is blood, but they my family. So we got Uncle Sergeant Slaughter, who's like comes from a Jamaican background with the patois and the dancehall flavor in the rap and the dancehall style. And we got my brother Giggs producing, DJing, scratching, and rapping. And then my brother Cam, who's always been nice rapping. And then like we got a couple extra like people that'll be part of the Fantastik Fam when they're available. But that's kind of like I started building records with the fam on holidays. We would all be together, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Christmas time when people were out of school, whatever. We would just make mad records. And so I had like a good collection of them over the years. And we started getting, shows as well. And I was able to take, the Fantastik Fam on stage with some great opportunities. Like the first show they played, I believe, was Immortal Technique.
What?
And then the Jizza. What? And then Redman. So this is hip hop. This is Humboldt hip hop history I'm talking about.
For real.
When I first got here, there was a golden era of shows. There was people who had money. The money was good. It was getting used in good ways for promoting good music and bringing great artists through. And whenever a big act would come through, not everyone, but I would get a call for the ones that I was connected to the promoter through. And I had already showed improved my performance skills to them, and they also would have me host.
Nice.
So I'd be hosting, performing, bringing my kids out, helping to organize, promote, all that stuff. And I got my foot in the door really well with the Humboldt hip hop scene.
That's dope.
Yeah, and that started the Fantastik Fam and got them on a platform that kind of instantly gave them a good boost to be heard and seen. That family extended in Moira Lowe, who's part of this, who does singing on the Fantastik Fam records, who's my son Michael's wife now. They just got married. They have 2 children, made me a grandpa. So
nice.
The Fantastik Fam kept growing. We kept expanding, doing different stuff. Her and Mike have a bunch of records they haven't released, but have archives of recordings that I hope to hear at some point. We did a bunch of records. Like, I ended up putting out 2 Fantastik Fam kind of collaborations that were of those times over the years of us doing songs together on the holidays or on summer days when everyone was kicking it. And the first one was called Family Heirlooms, and the second one's called Famthology. And those are available. You can check them out. Still along my journey of production. I do most of the production for those records and recorded them, but I wasn't as good as my mixing as I am now. I've acquired a lot more knowledge. My mixes are coming nice now. But, it's a good look into that time and, some history right there. And, they got to do some incredible shows. Open up for Brother Ali, See Raised Walls. Like, the list goes on. We did mad shows as the group Fantastik Fam. And I'm very proud of them. They're nice MCs still. If they, when they choose to get into the music every time they do it, it's dope. Like, they ain't lost a step. My son Mike is now getting back in and making moves with me and doing some more recordings, working on some of his own stuff. So I look forward to some Michael Anthony recordings coming soon. Then we have the youngest son, Exclusive Beats, who now, who basically I trained during the pandemic. As soon as this COVID-19 started, about 2019, he started getting interested in watching me produce. And I was like, yo, man, I'll start, like, this kid needs some outlet because these are hard times. They need to have something to focus on.
For real.
I'm like, check this out. I showed him step sequencing on Pro Tools, how to loop, how to get the time right, how to make the drum swing, get it all put together. And he saw that and just really got super inspired and took off. So much that 6 months he was just in my studio every day, where he had, like, in 3 months, he had made more beats than I make in a year in 3 months' time. His output, the level he produces at, and his ear for music is incredible. And so I think he has my father to thank for that, who was a jazz musician and a musical genius. Sometimes the genes skip a generation. Not to say I don't got it too, but
nice too. But
I taught him, and he's got some special sauce, And since then, I bought him his own MPC, got his own studio now, and now we work really closely. We formed this group Vernacular, where, I've just been, I put out mad records in between Fantastik Fam and Vernacular. There's a bunch of my records we could talk about. Hold the Torch, mixed audio files. This album called The Rider, Just, there's a gang of Nac One projects. Nac One the Destroyer, which is a whole story about that album as well. It's supposed to come out on a German label, and they kind of took it and ran with it. And I'm still dealing with the legalities of that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You guys have, between what your family has done in the last 30 years and now what you've got coming for us in the next few years, is just really a testament to how you've moved the culture forward in Humboldt County. You know what I mean? You were saying you've never stopped. Never stopped.
No.
And so,
I've raised kids. I've had marriage, and lots of just going through the life, really. All the life stuff that you go through, like raising kids when they're little kids, and then having them be like, not toddlers, and they're in between, and they're teenagers, and all the different stuff you got to deal with in that process, and then still holding the torch to keep this music alive.
That's right. I got respect.
It's been, challenging, but so rewarding at the same time.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You took everything that you had going on in the Bay and brought it up here to Humboldt County and was able to establish yourself pretty quickly, it sounds like.
Yeah, I was like coming off of a tour. I had a lot of momentum.
That's right.
And I felt like that energy was going to I couldn't just come up here and just like find a job and keep, I had to keep the music popping. Like, this is my job. This is my career. If I go to clock in at somewhere, that's just a resource to keep this thing popping. So I've always had that ideal and that focus in my mind. It's like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm willing to work and grind, but it's about the music. It's all about, at the end of the day, how I'm going to position myself to get in a better, place with what I'm doing and always advance at the craft. And that's consistently staying focused on those elements of bettering my craft, bettering my production skills, bettering my beats. So I'm a producer as well. A lot of people know me as an MC, but I've produced a lot of records. And I've taught now the new protege producer that I'm looking at to be the future,
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what's up.
Yeah, alongside also bringing the idea of creating the Fatbo Cypher. Me and B Swizz talked about how I could what can I do to contribute along with what he's doing, and how we could work together, because we were homies and we had done shows and interacting as the live band with the MCs. Been doing that for years, and I used to record them jamming down at the Red Fox back in the early Humboldt days when I was first, kind of like the first 5 years I was up. So I was around a lot of the musicians, checking out the scenes, just got my feet in the dirt, man, and was like, what can I do? And now we're on the 8th year of Fatbo Cyphers, which was, it was like my way of bringing back the original root of the culture from where I came from. Because when I was a young cat training in the Bay to become a better MC, we had open mic ciphers, all freestyle. It was all about how long you could go and keep on beat. And the way we used to battle back then too wasn't always a personal battle. It was like who could stay in the circle the longest and keep coming with ideas that are making sense and sound right. Mm-hmm. And the last man standing won, because you could out rap the room.
That's right.
So we I try to bring that friendly competition to the Fatbo Cypher. It's all ages, it's all levels. It's welcoming anybody from singing, poet, rap, whatever you can do on the mic, what is your talent, come and spit, do your thing. And we're going to give you love, no matter if you stumble, fall, whatever. Come back next time and get better. That's kind of like the whole key to the thing. So it's been a community service that I've been doing.
That's right.
For free for years, just out of my heart, so that I can show the community this hip hop love. Like, this is real love. This is, we embrace this culture to, manifest the best parts of ourselves and become the better version of ourselves through this voice, through this expression. And there's nothing more powerful than that. It's a magic thing when you really, see some stuff happen that's live in airtime. There's nothing preconceived. It's when it's done right and it's impeccable. It's something different than, and also, we go and spit bars. We have written verses. We go and kick those too. But I usually try to save my written stuff for my shows when I'm performing my music in its music form as it's structured to the beat and everything. That's one thing. But when I do ciphers, I'm usually trying to be 100% freestyle. I still got mad phrases and connections in my head that I've been spitting, and certain rhyme sounds that just rhyme. So it's kind of like muscle memory. And you might see mad freestyles that have similar phrasings and cadences and flows, but it's always a little different. Mm-hmm. And that's how I'm just speaking out of my head right then, trying to make sense of what's going on and talk about what it is and style it out so it sounds dope, opens your mind, gets you thinking, and connects in the energy of the room and makes people like vibe out together. I mean, it's a tribal thing. It connects on many levels of our human experience, and I think it's so important for MCs, and it's kind of like the lost art as well. So I'm trying to keep that alive, only to better our area. So these spitters that come out around here are going to be sharp because they came to the cipher to practice their skills, sharpen their blades. I mean, that's always what it's been about for me, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of all the cats that have been coming up who've been putting in the time. Now they're there's other ciphers now branched off. They got one on Wednesdays they do. And a lot of the same cats that was coming to the Fat Bowl cipher now kind of started their own thing. They keeping their training going. I'm just like, this beautiful thing in this tradition of hip hop. So, I'm all about the core values of hip hop. I'm all about the tradition. I'm about the culture. I'm about bringing that culture to the people and showing them that and feeding it to them, in digestible bits so they can catch and get it, and so that conversation can change from, when people say I'm a rapper or an MC, they don't get that that weird face. They actually be like, oh, that's some genius shit. That's some powerful shit you do. That's some remarkable talent that you have. It's not just what you get the stereotypical version of what people don't know about the culture, we'll say, on the negative tip. So I feel like it's important to keep those things alive.
You just dropped today on social media a collage of the releases that the Fantastik family has dropped in the last 3 years, 2020 through this year.
Yes. We can go through that timeline and talk about it. So we got the Monsters Inc. single, was our first single for Vernacular. I used that as the launch off. That was I got a special gift of a good friend of mine gifted me with this feature with Rockness, knowing that I'm a big Sean Price fan and Helter Skelter fan, but Sean Price has passed away, so we can't get him a feature, so he got the next best thing was his partner Rock. That was amazing. I wasn't ready for that. He was like, you're gonna do a song with Rock, and I was like, okay, I gotta go home and make the illest beat I can make right now. And that was one of them things. I was still training Exclusive how to produce. And that was an opportunity to show him how to take a basic beat to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I was like, watch this. We're going to build this beat on a vibe, knowing it's going to be on this monster thing, because that was Rockness. That's Rockness brand, is Rockness Monster. And I was like, Monsters Inc., let's go. And I'll talk about how I could use the ink part as the graph part of my career, and you kind of, it's like the monster and the graph writer. We kind of conform that way. I was trying to find a parallel between our styles, and I built the beat from scratch, and then showed him how to we're gonna replace these drums. We're gonna make this bass hit harder. We're gonna, using EQs and doing the mixes, and then taking it to the studio with the engineer and having it go even to the next level from there. It was dope. It was dope to show him that, see how we could do it. Then we got a video shot for it. And that was like our launch off, you know. And for me, it was a big risk because I'm taking all the, you know, years of putting in the Nac One brand and flipping into this new name, Vernacular, which people have been calling me that for a long time. Oh, what up, Vernacular? You know, like, I had that in the head, like, that would be a good side name. But then when I was working on this stuff with my son, I was like, why don't we just do a group thing? Just you do the beats, I'll rap, and we call it Vernacular. So that was the launch off for that. And then we started, we had mad like songs. A lot of them on the first Vernacular release, the Listen, that came out the next month in November. That was all my production. I produced all them joints pretty much with the assistance of like B Swizzlow on a couple tracks that I arranged his playing and co-pro'd with him. And then, we just been kind of like promoting, getting videos done for that project. We got one for Year of the Shark. We got one for Monsters, Inc. We just started cooking. We were in the lab every month, every chance I had, like we were making new joints every month. And we started stacking those up. And I wanted to do the deluxe edition of the Listen and didn't realize how to go about it with putting out stuff that had already been put out. They canceled it on there. They took the record off. I didn't know all the ways to get through the iTunes and the Spotify. They had blocked that record. You can't put doubles of the same songs out so all the stuff has to be, all the metadata has to be straight, all that stuff. So I learned a lesson. I was like, all right, word. I had to fall back. And then, I really wanted the people to hear my son's production up to that point because he's just on fire making mad beats. And I got him a sampler. And then he really wanted to put out this beat tape for his birthday. So I had it come out right on his birthday on July 21st, 21. Exclusive Beats dropped the Summer Beats, which is like just a dope beat tape.
Yeah,
it's a vibed out beat tape, just good for picnics, barbecues, going to the beach, going on the trail, whatever. It's like really got a summer vibe. You could feel it. All them, all them joints. And then I started, I was frustrated about the deluxe edition not working out. I was getting frustrated with putting out projects that I didn't feel like people was hearing them in their entirety. And I'm like, I'm going to change up my game. I start getting more marketing skills, start learning more about how to really hit the algorithm and how to really work within this metaverse era and really kind of like, so I just sharpen up my skills doing that all of 21, like really going in. I took even my production skills to a further level by getting a Wave certification for mixing hip hop specifically.
That's what's up.
Learned a lot of techniques and got all the plugins right for my system, upgraded the system. Like it was a whole renovation in the studio, new computer, new inputs, like, so things are real straight with the production. And now my knowledge, I got to start using it. So I'm like, what's up with all these joints? We had extra songs we wanted to put on the deluxe edition. They got taken off. So I'm like, yo, we need to put out that Prelude Division. We need to put out, these are joints that were on the deluxe. I was like, we repurpose them as singles. So I started going in and getting my mixes tighter, and then working still with the local engineer to do my mastering and kind of learning kind of coming back with the process from my mixes to his master. Some of them I like, and some of them I was like, I can do this. I'm like, it's not that. I'm making it more of a mystery than it really is. And, I started doing some more trainings and learning more about doing mastering chains on Pro Tools. So I got the right plugins for that stuff, started getting in it. And I feel like, the next joint, we released Prelude Division as a single in December. Or was it December? No, that was November 21. And then we did the Resilient next in December, which I felt wasn't my best mix because it was a little bit of an older song and was recorded in the room where I didn't have my before it was pre-training. So my mic wasn't in the right place. It was more like sound kind of in the vocals that were bouncing off the wall. A little bit of difficulty mixing the vocals, and so I was like, I love the lyrics, I love the vibe, but I wasn't like, this is my best mix or nothing. But I gotta put this music out anyway. It's gonna show a timeline. Y'all see my stuff getting better, and then I dropped the Main Attraction remix, which is actually a joint I did over a GMG beat, but it kind of like didn't really come out, didn't really hit. Like, it's not his beat didn't hit, but the song didn't really hit. It didn't really go out. Its momentum kind of it just didn't really happen. Like, I was going through stuff in life. Some things happen like that with songs. So my son saw that and was like, can I please remix that song? No disrespect, but I think I can make that song pop. And we did 3 mixes of exclusive mixes on that joint until the final one we put out like that. I think the one on the deluxe version was a totally different beat. And it sounded different, had a different vibe to it. But the last one he did, the final one, it was more like that energy that I wanted to hear on it. And my mixing got better. I was like, I like the way my master sounds a little bit. But I got it mastered, but I actually had to put it through the chain again to boost it up a little more. So I was starting to get not salty, but I was like, I can't spend money on stuff that I have to rework on still. It's not to my standard. And then since then, I really upped my mixing and mastering game. And then Battery Acid, dropped on February 28th. One of my best mixes and masters. It just sounds like where I want to sound. I'm real proud of it. I'm proud of Flo J for the feature and that we got that together and like we wanted to make this classic joint that like it's brand new. Talking about it like it's brand new, but it's now in the history of timeline, and that joint I'm just proud of because it's got the feel, it's got the right, the beat that we chose for it was right, like the verses was right, the vibe was right, and it all come out of our hanging out. Let me see, what do you think about this title? Because I come up with titles when I write songs. I start from ideas that are like, this is my idea, and then I write from there. Like I come up with a theme first, like Main Attraction, resilient. Like I just like those words. I like what they mean. How can I unfold and expound on this concept? So I like to write like that, where I do freestyle style stuff too, where I'm just going off and writing verses and then write a hook to it later. But I like the process that I've been using of coming up with a strong idea and then create a hook around that idea, and then write the verses that tie it all together. And the beat feels like what we're talking about as well. So we have that complete song feel. And if you hit it on all them marks, you check all them marks, and then you get the mix right, then you could perform it for people, and it's just on. It's like we're mastering all the elements to create great music now. I feel like we're in our zone. It's come a long way, and we're here. Like we're doing this. So then I just dropped, this King Epic EP on March 1st was my birthday. A couple days ago, and that was it was a birthday present to myself and also a level up. I wanted to show people where I'm at right now. Like I just wrote them joints January, February, mixed, mastered it. It was that was the fastest time turnaround I ever put a bunch of songs together in the shortest amount of time, got a mix master, got the art done, and released on the date. So that was showing my execution, my process, and where I'm at now. Like, I wouldn't say it's my best because I'm keep going, but it's at a standard level of sonic quality, the visual presentation, the vibe, the co-production, of course, my brother B Swizzle always comes with the illest. I could use him as my orchestra if I want to come with non-sample stuff and just create original tracks. So I got some of those on there. Then I got some sample joints that I'm getting cleared. So these are the first release where I'm clearing my samples that I'm using. It's all super professional, done in a timely I put myself on like, if you were signed to a record deal, you would have a deadline. You would have expectations to fulfill. So I put that on myself as if I'm in that real timeline. See, I'm working towards this great thing. So if I can accomplish that on my own, then when I'm ready for, when they come to talk to me, I'm gonna be ready to negotiate, and they're gonna have to talk about. It's not like I need I've developed myself. I've done all my marketing research. I've done all this foundational groundwork that it really makes it, a solid thing I'm trying to create in this movement. And this is permanent. This is legacy. This is, as real as it can get. Mm-hmm. So, the lyrics on that joint are a little more aggressive, a little more ferocious on purpose. It's kind of a statement of like, man, I've worked my ass off doing this. And if y'all ain't fucking with it by now, heads are going to fly, because that's all that's going to happen. I'm going to come out with this samurai vibe, and y'all going to feel that.
That's what's up.
All metaphorical, all good in a sense of this is all the art and the craft. But I do take it that serious. Like, it's serious to me. And I love this stuff, and it's my heart, my soul, my passion, my drive, my mind. I poured everything into this shit. So I can only be proud of what I'm doing right now and happy about where I'm at, and I'm real excited about the new stuff that I got coming as well. I got joints dropping very soon. I got stuff planned for 420. That's representing the Humboldt County culture, of course. Mm-hmm. And one of my longtime friends and original MC I started rhyming with in the Bay, Dopamine 189. We have a group that is called Serious 2 that we haven't really put it into fruition yet, but we have this thing going on. We have some tracks, and he's a producer MC as well. Mm-hmm. He now stays in Sacramento, and like we talk all the time and stay connected. That's what's up. 20 plus years friendship, and I got him featured on this joint, and my daughter is on. My youngest daughter is singing on the track with me, doing some harmonies, and
okay.
It's a weed culture song. I can get so high, it's about getting high. So it's gonna be it's a nice exclusive beat production. It's fire. Okay. It sounds like one of them classic weed songs that it's on a level. I feel. I hope people fuck with it. Then I got a joint called Leave the Stage Lit featuring Little Kid Lost, aka Eli Fowler, and Highway.
Oh man,
that song is gonna drop very soon. It's a monster. It's ridiculous. These guys spit bars on that joint, like
that's for real.
And it's all about performance and our excitement for performance and what we bring to the stage and how we do our craft. And we're all live artists. So I had some of my favorite local live motherfuckers get on this joint and just smoke it up. Like, I set them up for success. I went first on the joint just to open them up to be like, these are the dudes, like, I fuck with these dudes heavy. Mm-hmm. Just like I'm all about repping for my homies and the home base, and for all the MCs up here in Humboldt, on all the different levels and styles that people are doing. I salute all of y'all, and we definitely rep for y'all. You might hear some aggression in my music, but it ain't aimed at y'all. It's just the way I do my thing. You know what I mean? Like, if I had a problem with anybody, I would directly call them out. No problem. But I'm all about these skills and this craft. So, in that there's a friendly competitor here just to push you. That's the stuff that creates greatness. And then we're working on our, vernacular album full length called Vision. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a next level album. Definitely we're trying to make some of the best songs we can to put on that joint. I got some started, got some, mad joints in the clip too. I got mad singles to come out so that we'll keep you guys fed all year round, plus keep going into the future. I mean, it don't stop. We're just going to keep on making songs and keep dropping them till the world hears this. And that's the plan.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Man, Nac, I got a lot of respect for everything you've laid down in Humboldt County, in the Bay. And I may have said this before, but I have a lot of respect for families that are putting their kids on. And even if you're not necessarily putting your kid on, just training them in a way to get their creative energy out, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And I taught all my kids this hip hop. I brought them all along with me. You know, we rolled all the way down to, you know, Oxnard, LA as a unit to go see me do performances and rock with it. And like, I know it's not regular for every family, but this is something this is my life. And they were all, you know, happy to be a part of it. And then when they got their chance, they rose to the occasion and really, like, you know, did that with me. And it's a beautiful thing, you know.
It's in y'all's blood.
It is, absolutely. We got a lot of music in the DNA, in the family tradition. So, you know, that's part of my mission, is keeping that alive. You know, it's only right.
You're definitely doing it, Nac, that's for sure, man.
Right on.
I like how you have put energy into the entire process, and you're seeing a constant culmination every new drop that you're coming out with. Like you said, have put time into the marketing side of things, and you already had the graphic design and art skills,
yep,
without a doubt. And so you put those skills into this, and that's something that not every production, not every family, not every group has. You know, they don't have those skills. So.
Yeah, I mean, I got that, and I'm not trying to be, you know, that dude that wears all these hats, but I can wear several at a good level, and so I, you know, I'm not trying to be that you know, jack of all trades, master of none thing, but definitely master the crafts that are necessary to do this part of the business. And I am a one-stop shop for that. I can cover it. And it's always been my ambition to be my own record label, that's what Fantastik Fam Music is, essentially, and has been since we've been dropping records. But, you know, we're just getting it better and better and making it more of a real business to, you know, on all levels, just taking it to the next place. And that's what I hope to see happen for our area, to have more established artists and be on a national, international platform, you know, worldwide. Why not? We got lots of talent here. We're just trying to get it exposed and cultivated in the right form and to its highest level it could be at.
That's right. That's what's up.
So all those things I'm doing is just positioning myself to be in that place that I could really, and I'm a natural leader, you know, so this is the qualities of a real leader, is being able to show and prove, you know, and not be just the person in the front, but the person behind people, pushing them forward. Mm-hmm. That's a key that a lot of people miss. They don't get about being a real boss or being a real leader. Like, when I make food at home, most of the time, there's times it's getting late and I get hungry, but I wait for everyone to serve themselves, so I eat last. And that's the true, you know, marks of a leader and someone who is gonna, like, be able to be a real, you know, vanguard and keep that inspiration for everyone pushing. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm not just showing you I'm over here and you're over there. I'm like, we could all go here. Let's get it. Let's all eat. Let's all make some shit out of this. Why not? I'm going, let's go. Let's all go. Let's put it down, man. That's why, you know, when I seen what you were doing, I salute you, bro. And I was like, let's cultivate, man. Let's build. I see what you're doing. Check this out. We got foundation here. We got history. You know, I want you to get that information right. I want you to know these key players so that you start putting the pieces together. You're going to have that map is going to be straight. You know, it's going to be correct.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
and I appreciate all you've done to put me on, Nac. Like I said, like, you know, you've helped get this podcast out there and on the radar of other Humboldt legends, you know what I mean? And so I really appreciate that. I'm really trying to make this podcast exist as a tribute to the foundation and the culture that you guys have cultivated, you know? I think that's only proper.
And it's just an extension of the original, you know, root of this culture worldwide, that this is embraced by all cultures on Earth. And it's one of the most powerful movements in my lifetime I've ever witnessed, and one of the most popular music genres ever to exist that has outlasted other genres by year spans and you have no idea where it's going to go. So, you know, we're here at the forefront, bro. We're like creating history as we speak. You know, people are going to be able to look back at this, and this will be a point in time where that's where he was right then, and now look where he's at, you know, and that's what I'm visualizing for us. That's what I see for our future. You know, we're still foundation right now, you know, and now you're a part of that. That's a beautiful thing.
Thank you, man.
I salute you for that, man. We needed you here. We needed this. We needed this to happen. This is like all part of like what's supposed to happen. I was thinking about how I was going to do this myself, and I'm glad you're doing it. Because I got to write rhymes and make music. So,
and I'm glad to, you know, continue to push this lane forward and get all the artists that have been holding the culture down in Humboldt County, you know.
For sure.
I want to actually take a moment to put a call out. If you're listening to this podcast and you've been dropping hip hop in Humboldt County, let me know, because I want to interview you. I want to get you on to add to this picture that is, you know, we're trying to paint this picture of what's been happening, who's been creating this vibrant culture in Humboldt County. And so if you've been a part of that, you need to be a part of this podcast.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Nac, man. I'm so thankful that I could get your time and that you laid this out so beautifully for the community, man.
Right on.
You know, you do a lot for the community. A lot of the effort that you put into is unseen and it's unpaid for. And I want to take some time to acknowledge, because it's not easy being a leader in a community. It's not easy holding down a culture, especially like you just talked about, for the longevity that you have. Yeah. Like, that's not easy. A lot of people, you know, and I'm definitely not talking about anybody in specific, maybe just a common piece of the formula being at some point people slow down. That's not what's happened with you at all.
No, I'll refuse to let that happen. And really, you know, I always pay homage to this culture and to the pioneers and the people that came before me. And it's necessary for this to keep going, for people to continue that spirit and that acknowledgement, because that is, nothing comes from nothing. You got to have a root. You got to have a starting point of something. And, you know, not to be like, it ain't, you know, it ain't no personal ego trip about it. It's just real history. So you have to respect that, you know, and I believe in that. And I believe that that's what's going to keep it pushing forward.
I want to make sure that people also continue to check this podcast out. I need to make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast on your social media feeds, on your stories. We're trying to elevate hip hop in Humboldt County higher and higher, to the point where, like Nac said, everybody's eating, everybody's on a trajectory for growth, you know, because this county is going to be growing. Like I talked about in the last episode, we got the Cal State University that's now a Cal Polytechnic University, Cal Poly Humboldt. And this is going to grow the county in a way that I think people haven't maybe acknowledged or don't even realize yet. And when all those kids come in, when all the students get here and want to know about this vibrant culture, when they're going out to shows and they're seeing Nac One, they're seeing Object Heavy and Brian Swislow, they're going and seeing Highway, they're seeing Flo J, they're seeing all the artists that put on shows around here, they're going to want to know how long these artists have been doing this for, where they came from, what they're about. And so that's what this podcast is about. So stay tuned to the next few episodes, because we got some more hip hop legends nonstop for you. That's what it's going to be for 2022. It's nothing but the dope artists in Humboldt County painting their picture of what they've done. And when we've had a certain amount of people on, there's going to be a picture. If you've listened to the podcast and listened to every single paintbrush stroke that's added onto that picture, you're going to know what level of quality this hip-hop culture has been cultivated to by Nac One and the Fantastik Family, by Brian Swizzlow and Subliminal Sabotage and Eli Fowler and Highway and all the artists that have been dropping dope music in Humboldt County and really setting this culture up for success. I got a lot of respect. Man, I'm just in awe at how well you dropped it. You laid that down, bro. That's the true skills of an MC is your mind is always moving and thinking ahead and making it dialed when it comes out. MCs have that skill down, and you just really displayed that for me here, Nac, man.
Right on, bro. I appreciate that. I've actually had some time in public speaking too, doing like conferences at HSU and speaking at the Humboldt County Cup. I was their spokesman for like 5 years for all their festivals, so I had to do all the announcing for I perform there, then I do the hosting and announcing stuff. So I got some public speaking time. So I'm excited to do these things because I get to kind of like use this brain for something, you know?
Yep. Yep. It's art, man. It's just like when you're flowing on the songs, man, it flows. That's crazy, man. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of respect for you, man.
Right on. Appreciate you, man. Dope.
Follow Nac One on all the socials. On Instagram, that's at Nac One Flicks. He's on TikTok. That's at Nac One FSC. He's on Facebook. That's Nac One. Go follow him on all those pages so you can stay apprised of what the Fantastik Family has got coming out moving forward.
Yes, sir. And you can subscribe to my YouTube page, Nac One Videos, with the Z at the end.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I'm going to be pumping that too.
There you go. What about exclusive? Does he have?
He's on the gram.
Okay.
Exclusives on the gram, and then follow that vernacular on the on the gram, the vernacular hip hop at vernacular hip hop. Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah.
Look for this future. We're gonna keep it coming.
That's what's up.
Keep your eyes on the horizon. Utilize that vision.